There are reports of U.S. Special Forces training Taiwanese soldiers, and I just want to ask first about the significance of that. And also, do we know what this training is?
Sure. I'll have to admit I don't actually know what the training regimen is like. I imagine some of that's also classified both on the Taiwanese side and the United States side. But the very fact that it's special forces, Green Berets that are going out there, is an important sign as well. I mean, this is they're crack ground forces, crack infantry, which would be needed in any kind of sort of invasion or counter invasion scenario. And they're special forces, right? They're trained to work behind enemy lines and also in particular train local forces to respond to them. The special forces do train in asymmetric warfare, and in particular are training other countries. Like if you are not able to get the supplies into Taiwan, if you're not able to get persistent, if you don't have the gas to fuel up an Abrams tank, well, what do? Well, you have to rely upon a long logistics tail, kind of short resource consumption, and that's exactly what asymmetric strategies do. And so the special forces are kind of top notch at that.
Now, there's no exact number of how many trainers there are in Taiwan, but if you had to take a guess, how many do you think there are, and how does this training program work?
Right now, I think the number, the last I checked, was something like 200, maybe 400 trainers. It's not really that many. These guys are not going to go out there and directly train the Taiwanese military on their own because there's just not enough of them. So what they're doing instead is sort of a training of trainers kind of approach. They'll train the Taiwanese trainers who go out and then diffuse those lessons throughout the rest of the Taiwanese military. The reason why I say this is more important is because here you're seeing the United States really get into the nuts and bolts of an asymmetric strategy. So the U.S., D.C., London, other places feel like the asymmetric strategy is the way to go, and now they're actually giving the Taiwanese military the software, if you would, to be able to actually implement it.
Starting this year, Taiwan is going to receive a whole bunch of equipment like drones, tanks, missile systems. And with all that hardware coming in, what happens now? Should Taiwan be focusing on maybe the software and how to train to use these systems?
So you have all this hardware, but how do you make sure that they can actually be used? How do you make sure they don't shoot each other down, for example? There are deconfliction issues. How do you know where everybody is and can actually coordinate their fire? And so, I think you're absolutely right that with this hardware coming, it's actually much more important now to actually get the software online. Can the soldiers and the troops do what they need to do? Can they coordinate with each other? And so there's that $300 million agreement to make a purchase late last year on the Lake 16 system, which I think is absolutely essential to this. It's a communication system that will allow them to actually coordinate their forces in an effective manner.